Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining this week's Tips and Tricks webinar. Today's topic, as you can see, is using Checkpoint Pro support, best practices for that. Please use the Q&A chat. If you have any questions during the webinar, we'll make sure we answer those. Our presenter today are actually two presenters today from our Pro Support Customer Success team in Ottawa, Morgan Revels and Avi Gross. Morgan, Robbie, take it away.
Yeah, hi.
Yours.
Hi, everybody. Hi.
Hi, guys. So as Robert said, my name is Morgan and I'm a customer success manager for the Pro Support service. Just a little background about myself. I've been working with Checkpoint for about 7 years now. I've been with the Pro team for about 5, really working through evaluations and any customer queries that might come across our plates. Avi is our team manager here. I'll let him tell you guys a little bit about himself before we get started here.
Hi, everybody. I am Avi. I'm located in Israel. I actually lived in the US for 9 years up till 2020, up till COVID started, more or less. And I joined Checkpoint like a year ago. Came to manage the Pro team, and excited to be here. Morgan is going to do most of the presentation, but I'm here also to answer questions. Go ahead, Morgan.
For sure. So I have a quick presentation prepared for you guys today, and then we will get into a live demonstration via our user center portal. If you have any questions, feel free to write them into the chat, or we can take them at the end of the call. Of course, Abby will be there able to answer any of your questions. All right. So when we think about how we've historically been able to provide support within Checkpoint, we can probably agree it's been a little bit of a reactive approach. We've been handling issues after they've already occurred, and because of that, there's partial monitoring and minimum coverage. We've been relying on collecting those logs and debugs after the fact, and this requires 100% human involvement on your side and ours. We really needed a way to collaborate with our customers to avoid this time-consuming process, and nothing changed until we were able to develop and launch our Checkpoint Pro Support service. Overall, the service allows us to identify points of failure before they actually become critical to your environments. Now, firstly, and mainly the building block of Pro, is the daily monitoring piece. We're going off of a 3-tiered system here with Pro today, but as I said, we're basing off of our daily monitoring. Essentially, our daily monitoring is assessing your devices in cloud platforms every day so we can identify any key issues and actually notify you on them. Now, with Pro Support, we're using 2 different methods of notification, and we do have some extras which we'll talk about later in the presentation. The most important feature and method of notification today is our automatic and preemptive ticket creation. In a nutshell, this is really only something that's being done by Pro today, and we're immediately opening up a ticket for specific high severity issues and actually reaching out to you guys to work on them versus you having to call into tax, symptom analyze, transfer files, and create SRs. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a few slides as well and what's included with those proactive tickets. Now, our second method of notification, which we'll go through a live demo of today, is our automatic professional reports. These are actually available via your Checkpoint User Center, and they refresh on a daily basis. So they are very easy to share within your teams, as anyone within your User Center account will be able to review these Pro reports. Now, a common question that we do get is, what types of parameters are you monitoring with Pro? It is a large range, and you can expect to see alerts related to things such as cluster Excel, logging patterns, processing kernel crashes, overall system health, memory, throughput, CPU. The list really goes on, but here in front of you, you have a basic view of the types of metrics and some parameters that we're actually using with Pro today. As you can see, which I'll give you a few moments just to kind of glance through this list, there's nothing sensitive or internal that's going to have any security risk in sharing. All this data will be sent over SSL and actually stored in a secure location. We do have some logic in place to avoid any performance impact to your environment. So any of your devices that might be at 60% CPU or higher during the time of reporting, which actually occurs between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m., your local device time, will skip reporting that day. You will receive a note in your Pro report that we couldn't pull a report, and it will, list out a couple of different reasons. Now, typically, if we have high CPU, you'd be able to check into that and easily determine that we're having some high CPU issues, because we do have that time frame that you'd be able to look into between 1 and 4 a.m. But there might be some connectivity issues to our server, really, or anything like that. As you can see, we have some SKs up here, which can highlight really what do we monitor in a more deeper sense and how and what information is shared with us. Now, sharing data can be a scary aspect, but we can assure you that it is safe, GDPR compliant, and also we abide by the Checkpoint privacy policy. If you need more information, of course, you can get that. If you'd like to see the raw data that you're sharing with Checkpoint, you actually can run the command cpdiag-kn. By running this command, we're actually asking that cpdiag process to keep the data file but not upload it. An XML file will be created for your view. You can't look at the first part of that because it is encoded as it is the CPView database, but the rest of the fields will be viewable for you. So you do have the option to review the raw data as well. Talking about proactive tickets, they are quite different than what you're used to with your regular TAC tickets, in the sense that when they're created and assigned to a pro expert or a designated diamond team, our pro experts are located in our 24-hour office in Ottawa, and our diamond teams obviously are located across the world here. These tickets include all of the details that we need to resolve the issue much quicker. For example, a proactive ticket will include all gateway details, versions, hardware information. If it was a crash, maybe the process that crashed, and a list of all installed hotfixes. This is going to help us ensure that if we have to recommend a hotfix to fix your issue, we're going to know what's compatible with your environment based off the automatic information uploaded about the device into this proactive ticket. Now, the more exciting part about proactive tickets is they can limit things like file requests, CP info, and core files. And that's because if we do have a crash, a stack trace is automatically added to that ticket for the engineer to review. This gives that engineer an immediate link between R&D to see if there's actually already a known fix out there for the issue that you're having. Now, thirdly, we do have some other information that we can pull to help ensure that we give you guys the best solution possible. So we are able to correlate other matching issues and the solutions that our engineers actually already provided in those. This helps the TAC team to avoid duplicating efforts and really separates only the relevant information to the issue at hand so that they can provide you the best and quickest solution possible. Now, not to worry, we're not going to go ahead and create, 20 proactive tickets for you in one day. We do have some logic in place to ensure we're not spamming you with tickets. You can expect tickets to open when it comes to Pro for a few defined issues. So for example, all kernel crashes will create a proactive ticket. The top 50 process crashes will create a proactive ticket. Detectable hardware failures like system fan failure, critical hotfix matching, and ICA expiry notification. Those ICA certs actually are typically valid for about 20 years. So it's really nice to get notified proactively with Pro when they're about to expire, since they really are easily missed. Which brings us to our next point. There are some clear differences in terms of Pro customer experience when you compare a Pro customer versus a non-Pro customer. So as you can see here on the screen, on the left, we have a customer who is not using Pro, and unfortunately that ICA cert expired. They were unable to connect to VPN and Smart Console. They had to create an SR, call into TAC, transfer files, join a troubleshooting session, all to identify the issue. The engineer, of course, provided the steps to renew the ICA, but unfortunately, the renewal failed. And since the certificate was already expired, this ticket was open for 17 days. Now on the right here, we have a customer that was using Pro support, and their experience was much smoother than the customer who was not. The ICA certificate never expired in this environment, and that's because Pro alerted via the Pro report on the upcoming expiry 1 year in advance. 6 months out from the expiry date, Pro support created an automatic ticket for this customer, and the assigned engineer, which was assigned automatically, provided the renewal steps, and the customer successfully renewed the ICA. In this case, we had no impact or downtime, and the SR was actually open for less than a day. You're probably wondering at this point, what are the overall benefits of Pro support for you? Well, Pro support is a lightweight tool. When an issue is detected, the Pro report provides actionable insight and remediation steps, which will be relevant in a few moments when we get digging around in there. With proactive SRs being open automatically, they actually include all of the details. Pro support is able to provide a faster resolution path and will save time ultimately by collecting real data across the environment, all while alerting you early on before critical impact occurs. One of the great things about Pro is how easy it is to roll it out into your environment. In a sense, it's already built in when it comes to the data sharing. So there are 2 steps that you need to follow when enabling Pro support. The first step you can see here in this global properties screenshot. Essentially, to enable the sharing of data, you need to go to the security management within the global properties, internet access, select these 2 options, which are recommended by us to improve your product experience, push policy, and the next day you would have a Pro report. There are probably some cases, maybe some of you have some offline gateways. Not to worry, as long as you have a management that's connected to the internet, then you are able to bundle the reports and push them to us from your management. So offline gateways can send data as well, safely. The second step would be more administrative, and that would be to set your Pro contact. Once you get into a Pro report portal, which we're about to go into in just a few moments, you will see accounts covered by Checkpoint Pro. Once you get there, really quickly, you can just click on Manage Contacts. All of your UC contacts pull up and you designate who you'd like for your Pro support contacts. This contact will need to know that they're set as the Pro contact so that they're aware when a proactive ticket opens, they will be the main contact notified. You do have a couple different options here. You can select, if you're using premium support, for example, you can select up to 10 Pro contacts. So you can use multiple Pro contacts or 1 Pro contact. You do have the ability, if you have multiple UC accounts, maybe they're managed by different teams. Each UC account can have its own Pro contact. And you also can use a distro email. If many of you have access to an email and it's constantly being monitored and multiple of you will be dealing with the proactive tickets, then you can use that distro email so that everyone is notified. If you select multiple contacts, one will be your main contact and the rest will be CC'd. And it will be very evident when you open up a proactive ticket because the proactive ticket will send you an email similar to when you open up those tickets on your own with TAP. It will very quickly say proactive SR, and for example, maybe an FWM crash occurred on hostname 1. Now, there are some extras that might be new to some of you who have heard about Pro support in the past. So we have recently developed some new features for Pro support, and it's going to maximize the value that you see for this with the service. While the report is available in our user center daily, there might be some people that don't have access to your user center. So you are able to opt in to have the report sent to your email inbox in form of PDF, JSON, or Excel. We also can send automatically some weekly reports that will really help highlight the trend of alerts in your environment. So here you can see an estate overview, which highlights the number of devices last week that were reporting for a particular alarm. Now, another cool feature that we have recently developed, which you can see here, is some email alert notifications. We did develop the ability to send notifications to our customers or partners on particular alerts. In this example we have on the screen, for example, we're highlighting some new high severity alerts, which have not occurred in the past 2 weeks in this environment, but did pop up, for example, on March 18th. This is another level of notification that you can use within Pro support to help you manage that daily report. If you don't have time to go into your Pro report on a daily basis, of course, you can always set yourself up for some email notifications. You can get the reports to your email and open them from there. And then also these alarm trending reviews will help bring it all together each week and help you prioritize those items within your Pro report. You'll know really what host names based on these trending reviews are triggering the most alarms and what high alarms maybe are most prominent in your environment. So this will help really prioritize your time. Overall, these 3 new features will save time when it comes to reviewing your Pro reports and resolving the items within them. Now, it's nice to note that all customers of Checkpoint are eligible for a 60-day trial of Pro support. When it comes to compatibility, all of our Quantum products are compatible with Pro support, and we do support our cloud platforms as well. If you'd like to request a trial, you can actually reach out to myself, and we'll also provide you Abby's information. You can include him or reach out to him directly, and we'll get that set up for you. By default, like I said, everyone would be eligible for a 60-day trial of this service. If you choose to set up a trial, you'd be working directly with myself and Abby as well.
Yeah, and guys, if you set this trial, we're gonna be here for you. So in case you got any questions or things that you need from us during this trial, so definitely you can reach out to us and we can help you to understand the report or help you to analyze some things and whatever you need. I see a question in the chat. Somebody asked, Victor, you asked about if partner can use this service on behalf of the customer. So the answer is definitely yes. We give this service both to customers and to partners. So definitely not a problem. A lot of partners currently using this service. This actually help them to manage their customer sites and to support better their customers because they know they get the visibility of the environment. They know what's going on in the customer environment. They have the alerts. They know they get the proactive tickets open automatically to them. So all of this is happening, and this will actually makes the life of the partners easier.
Definitely. So that's a good question to lead into the live demo. So I'm going to pop over there now. Essentially, when you are accessing a pro report, it's very easy to get here. Just to make sure you guys are able to see the proper screen. Essentially, log into your user center account. For customers and partners, you might see a support/services, but in any event, it's the same place that you go to get to support center. A couple down, you've got Checkpoint Pro Report. This is that page that we were talking about when we were going through the activation steps. So essentially, if you had a trial enabled on your account, you would no longer see what is Checkpoint Pro. That's where you would see the accounts covered, and you'd be able to set your pro contact with the manage contacts icon. Now for today, I'm going to go into demonstration mode, a live report, but scrubbing all of the sensitive data here. Now, once this page loads, we have the overview page. Something that maybe isn't commonly known when it comes to pro support is just because we're at daily reporting doesn't mean that you don't have the abilities to go back in historics. So you can go back to Thursday, February 2nd, for example. Maybe you had some interruption in services and you and TAC are still working through the issue. You're not sure really what is causing it. You could double click on that data day and see if there's any diagnostics that might point to the issue that you're experiencing. You can also select a range of dates, and whatever dates you've selected for, even if it's just a single day, you can export into Excel or PDF as well. It will come out for those dates that you've selected. The PDF version will look exactly like your report here. The Excel version is nice if you'd like to, maybe create some pivot tables, but that's where I also come into play as the success manager that will work alongside with you. At first glance, if you're really pressed for time, just the overview page will give you a really good idea for what's going on in your report. We've got a quick glance of the devices at risk. So we can see right now that we have 15 devices that have high priority, 61 with medium, 36 with low, and 15 in normal status. You can click in here and view right away. You also can, track your service requests from here as well. Once you get into diagnostics for our partners and also for our customers, you do get a lot of inventory information. If you're working with a customer or maybe TAC is working on an issue for you, they can utilize this pro report to pull, MACs, host names, hardware types, SKUs, keys, account IDs, configuration type, and firewall versions. Once we expand into the alerts and go down to some of our green alerts, we also get some more information about the device. So if you're a partner working on a customer's account, maybe you have an issue, you can view all of the blades that are enabled and entitled on the machine. If you're a customer who is working with TAC and TAC's doing some testing for you and they're not sure what blades you're running, they can now just go right into your pro report and get that information immediately if you're using it. You also can view, the builds and takes that are running on each machine, and we actually list the first 10 fixes that are installed in the machine if that's relevant for you. Each alert comes with a description and remediation steps. A good thing about Pro Support and a really big time saver is, if we have a technical issue, you'll notice they come with remediation steps. If they have a SK that's linked to them, you'll notice here, you can click right into it from your Pro report. So this report will be actionable for you, and you won't have to spend time looking through our large knowledge base. We can see we had an 89% CPU spike here. At this local device time, wherever this device would be located, is the time that is produced here. And we've got some remediation steps. Typically, this is provided for your information and tracking, but it does have a threshold set on it. So if your CPU bumps up above 50%, you'll start to see these alerts in medium and high. In this case, we went above 80, so we've got it in high. Click right on this SK. It's going to pull up your best practices for security gateway performance and walk you through the solution here. You can search. You want to look for a particular host name. Maybe you want to look for a particular alarm and you have a large environment. Now we can see 5 devices that experienced some Core XL issues. Once we expand in here, we get to see that the gateway is dropping packets due to Core XL queue size, 10,833 drop packets on the 21st of March, for example. In this case, we've got some good remediation steps. It's likely that your input queue is not large enough to handle the traffic. And again, we've got our clickable SK. Now, unlike this SK, this one is basic, but this SK brought you to an expert technical level. It's okay if you're not at that technical level. You can lean on TAC for any item that you see in your Pro report that you wish to resolve, but maybe you require some assistance. This is a high fixed complexity and does require advanced troubleshooting. So you can always call into TAC, let them know you're using Pro Support. You see that you have some Core XL drops on hostname A. SK61143 seems to be the resolution, but you'd like some help through it. Okay. You do have some other options to clean up your report. You can see here, we have some VPN certificates that are going to expire. You can go ahead and exclude that. If you're not interested in having, certificate alerts, they are very helpful. But just for an example, maybe you want to clean up your report. You can always hide alerts just to clean up that view by this manage exclusions options. I'm in demonstration mode, but when you're in your own account, you have the ability to hide alerts for whole devices, entire accounts, or just particular devices within your account. Once it's excluded, you can always add it back in by this exclusion option here, and it will say how many exclusions are applied right beside your filter as you type box. And last but not least, you can multi-level filter here. So device family, maybe that have high priorities, that are clusters running R8040. Now, instead of 127 devices, we have a refined search for the clusters that match this criteria, just to speed up our review. And you can also, do some single level filtering when it comes to device type via your filter as you type box here. Now, all kind of in a nutshell, that's our Pro Support service and some quick tips to getting around in your Pro report. The extras that will help really manage the service if you choose to evaluate it, if it seems interesting to you. Like I said, you can reach out to Abby or I. We can walk you through this even deeper if you require some more information, but all of you would be eligible for a 60-day trial if you were interested. And like Abby said, we'll be there for you if you do initiate a trial. The good thing about Pro Support is that it does come with a customer success manager when we're trialing it. Along with, if you decided to purchase that, you would still have a customer success manager to work with Pro Support. We only
So
have
guys, just one more sentence from my side. So eventually, the main purpose here is, you got a lot of maintenance people that's supposed to maintain the system and make sure everything is fine. So our goal is to get you into a situation where we reduce the number of outages, like the example Morgan showed you about the VPN certificate, for example, but we have many more like this. So instead of facing an outage and dealing with the outage and solving the outage, you getting the alerts before the outage appears. And the second thing is it's like a flashlight you're getting into a room, with a flashlight and you point the flashlight exactly to where the problems are, where the potential problems are. So we give you the information. What are the risks in your environments? What are the risks that currently growing in your environment? And you have enough time to deal with those risks before they becoming an outages. So this is the idea.
Exactly. Pro support will really be a time saver and a tool that you can fall back on that's going to perform, hundreds of checks a day instead of having to manually perform them, which is impossible, of course. You guys have other things that come across your desk, and this service can really just be something that you can rely on to check on a lot of different system checks within your checkpoint environment. Now we only have a few minutes left, so if you'd like, if you have any questions, we can open up for some questions. Feel free.
Yeah, I got some here for you, Morgan and Avi. I'm just going through them. You covered some of these already. What does it take to activate? I think you showed that. Let's see. Email notifications. Can you get email notifications? Like you showed that, but can you customize it? Like what alerts come through? Who gets that specific notification? That kind of thing?
Yeah, totally. So for example, maybe on this particular host name, you're getting some interface saturation. I could subscribe you to, if this for example, was indicator 100, I'd be able to subscribe you to receive email alerts if this occurs in your environment.
Okay. Does this just like poll the boxes once a day, or is it constant monitoring? How does that work?
So essentially between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. local device time, we get the data pushed to us. We don't have access to the devices. We can only upload the data or update the data collection agent. So they're actually being pushed to us, but it is occurring between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. local device time. We chose those times just because majority of our customers will be offline at that time. We can also, have that 3-hour period. So if polling occurs between 1 and 2 a.m., we have those last 2 hours where we can get that report. It will always be analyzing the environment 24 hours of the day, but they will push to us at that 1 to 4 a.m. local device time. Once you get into the office the next morning, you'll have a new pro report.
Okay. Is there a list of what notifications would actually cause a ticket to be created rather than just the notification in the portal?
Yep. So we do create tickets today for all kernel crashes, the top 50 process crashes in regards to all of the devices reporting to us worldwide, critical hotfix matching, some hardware checks like fan failure, and ICA expiry.
Okay.
We typically create tickets if they require checkpoints assistance to resolve, and they can be quite critical for your environment.
Okay. Victor asked, is there a one-pager that describes the program? I guess you have just a data sheet, right? That's on the public site. We can link that.
Absolutely. I can pull that. And if you'd like, we can send that in our follow-up to all of you today.
Yep, I could send a link to that. Absolutely. Looking at a couple more, like I said, some duplicates here, email notification, reporting. You showed reporting, customized reporting for this. Can you report on your whole environment or a single box?
So when it comes to reporting, it's going to be based on what device reports into each UC. So say you have 10 devices in UC 1, 2, 3. Those 10 devices will report in under UC 1, 2, 3. If you don't want particular devices to report in, you would have to apply a block for those particular devices since it's a global property setting. So your whole environment will report in, but you do have the ability to just cover particular devices in Pro. So you could have, a Pro support account for 3 out of 10 devices if you'd like.
Okay. I think that covers the questions. Thank you very much, Morgan and Avi. Appreciate the information.
Sure. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting us.
Oh, of course.
Thank you,
Open
everyone,
invite.
for joining.
Yes, thank you, Morgan. And we'll send a follow-up email with any reference content, a couple of things that Morgan's referenced there in the SK articles in the presentation. That follow-up email will also have the recording link. Our next webinar will be in 2 weeks. That will be on IoT on SMB. This is a programming note. We're going to move this call to 11 o'clock Eastern. If any of the old school people who I do want to respect have been on here for years has a problem with that, please let me know. Everybody has my information, but we are getting more participation across the country. So I want to make it available to people on the West Coast for the live. So please give me your feedback. I'm open to any constructive criticism you have, but I thought I'd try this at 11 o'clock so we get more people to join. So please let me know about that. So you'll see an invitation for that soon. Thank you everybody for joining, and see you here next time. Thanks, Morgan. Thanks,
Bye.
Avi.
Bye. Bye.
Bye all.
Bye, everyone. Have a good day.